It's a new year, and with a new year, new me comes the best time to finally start that business you've been thinking about. This is the year to make the leap into entrepreneurship, become your own boss, take charge. January will be over before you know it. Don't let it slip away. The most powerful move you can make to take life by the reins is to start your business with Shopify. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made the leap, from small businesses and startups to juggernauts like Mattel and Gymshark. And Shopify gives you everything you need to sell, both in person and online. They have hundreds of awesome templates you can use to set up your online store and built-in AI tools to help with item descriptions, headlines, and enhanced product photos. And when your store is ready to go, Shopify can help you tell the world about it with their easy-to-use email and social media campaigns. And most importantly, Shopify can help you deliver to those customers by putting your orders, inventory, and tools to expand to more markets all into one simple-to-use dashboard. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period and start selling today at shopify.com/RTG. Go to shopify.com/RTG. That's shopify.com/RTG. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, buddy, I'm going to warn you right now. If you thought that song sucked, that is probably the single best thing about this game. Holy fuck. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 359, and I had an idea that kind of blew up right in my face. Happy holidays, by the way. Merry Christmas Eve, the day this episode goes live. Holy Jesus. This kind of blew up in my face. I didn't want to skip a week of Remember the Game during the Christmas holidays, but with the anarchy that is the holiday season, trying to lock down some of my guests during the busy holiday season with their schedule and everything just wasn't necessarily the easiest thing to do. So I decided to pick a game that I could cover on the show solo to cover off one of the episodes to go live around the Christmas break. And I have had the Simpsons Skateboarding for the PS2 sitting on my shelf for months. I picked it up pretty cheap at one of the comic expos I was at earlier this year, knowing I'd use it for an eventual episode. None of my friends had really played it. I was like, you know what? People say it sucks, sure, but I like skateboarding games. I used to love the Tony Hawk games. Obviously, I'm a bit of a Simpsons fan. Even if it's not that good, I can have some fun with this. We can make this into a fun episode. My friends, I say without an ounce of sarcasm, there is nothing fun about the Simpsons Skateboarding. Absolutely nothing. It plays like shit. It looks like shit. It sounds like shit. It is shit. This is, with no sarcasm, quite possibly the worst video game I have ever played. I am genuinely offended by just how bad the Simpsons Skateboarding is. And because I know people are going to leave the comments, or they have been leaving the comments on my post about it and asking, yes, the Simpsons Skateboarding is so much worse than Echo the Dolphin. I hate it more than I hate Shaq Fu. I hate it more than I hate Mario is Missing. Because at least Echo the Dolphin, Shaq Fu, and Mario is Missing, at least there's like some aspects of them that are good or passable or kind of fun or nice to look at, or they are as they are presented on the case. You know, at least there's something redeemable about each of those games. The Simpsons Skateboarding is an abomination. Awful. And I hope whoever greenlit this game to get released is in prison, because they're probably a fucking criminal. This game is, I don't even know if it's worthy of getting angry at. For those that are like, oh man, we're going to get an angry Adam the episode where he yells at everything. I mean, maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I haven't recorded the game review chat or the game review yet, but I'm so disgusted by Simpsons Skateboarding that I don't even know if I want to give it the what am I looking for? I guess, for lack of a better term, the dignity. I don't even want to show it enough respect to give it Angry Adams rub. I just want to tell you how fucking horrible this game is. I don't know how this is going to go. I thought this would be fun. This is going to be ass. This game, oh my God, this fucking game. It's so bad. Anyways, we're going to get into all that in just a minute because speaking of hearing about how something horrible is, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun! And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard and consider this your warning. Your intros are kind of long. They're not that long. They're kind of long, but they're fun. We talk video games and stuff. It's good times. And even if you're a hater that leaves me a bad review because you hate the intro of this podcast so much, I am genuinely convinced you will enjoy the infamous intro more than you would enjoy playing Simpsons Skateboarding. It is... I'm not even exaggerating. I can't get over how bad it is. It's fucking unbelievable. Anyways, if you want to skip the intro, I don't know why, but if you just want to hear me explain how shitty this game is, go to about the 30-minute mark and you'll be into the game chat, okay? Or consider signing up for our Patreon because our subscription started just $3 a month and included with said $3 a month is every single episode of Remember the Game, all 359 plus future episodes, time-stamped, ad-free, jump around, listen to your heart's desire as much as you want. To your heart's desire? I think that's the right term. This is like my third podcast today and my ninth one, I think, in the last week. So I don't even know anymore. But yeah, we have a Patreon. If you let me get my plug out of the way, it's how I keep my bills on. Patreon.com/Remember the Game. Subscription start at $3 a month. You get Remember the Game ad-free. Not only that, but you get new episodes. I publish 4 additional episodes most weeks over on over on our Patreon. They don't have any ads in them as well. You can also write into the podcast, vote on the games that we cover, join our 1,000+ member Discord. You get instant access to literally hundreds on top of hundreds of archive bonus podcasts. And beginning in January of 2026, I will be on stream from 11 a.m. or beginning at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday, as much as possible. For our patrons as well. Depending on the tier, depends on how many streams you can get on, but you can find all that information at patreon.com/Remember the Game. And most importantly, you get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to a couple of these people. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Jason White, Dark E Frost 11, and Bremen. I like Bremen. I'm going to say Bremen, but I think it's Bremen. I think I fucked that one up pretty bad. Thank you for the support and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. Like I said, find all that at patreon.com/Remember the Game. It's how we keep our bills on around here. You get tons of free episodes or tons of ad-free episodes. I fucking suck. Whatever. You guys know the spiel. I do it every week. You guys know the spiels. And if you sign up for a year, you get a 12th month on the house, and we donate part of that Patreon income every year to the Stollery Children's Hospital because... that's how we be. All right. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Scary Terry, who said, Adam, what are your thoughts on the Yoshi is a Pokemon theory? He hatches from a similar looking egg. He defeats enemies or eats to evolve and can only say his name, all like Pokemon. I think he is one. I have never heard that theory before, but I gotta say, all the boxes check. He does hatch from a similar looking egg. He defeats enemies or eats stuff to evolve. He can only say his name. But he doesn't ride around in a, my only counter to that is if he's a Pokemon, then why doesn't Mario just put him back in his ball to, take him into castles and fortresses instead of letting him be the little bitch that he is? I hate Yoshi. I'm not, this is you hear some conspiracy theories, and right away you're like, shut up. And then you hear some conspiracy theories, where you hear the conspiracy theory and you think you know what? I might have to do more independent reading on that. I feel I'm in camp B with Yoshi as a Pokemon. I'm going to do some more reading. Now you've just ruined my Christmas holidays. I was like, I'm going to get all the episodes done, and then I'm going to have a week and a half where I'm not even going to look at video game news or anything like that, and now probably going to waste it all drinking rum and fucking going online and trying to figure out whether or not Yoshi's a Pokemon. I'm intrigued by that theory. I never heard that before. Is this a common thing? Is this what people think? All right. I'm intrigued. Tylenol made me like this. Thanks, Mom. I love that name. Said, I have a question, Adam. Do you use your video game purchases as tax write-offs? Disclaimer, I am not a CRA agent. Yeah, I fucking believe that. I'm not falling for that again. You're the same one that calls me and asks me for my fucking information, and the third time it's too many sons of bitches. I get asked this far more than I would ever imagine that I would. Yes, not all, but most. Like, if I go, I treated myself to a copy of Mega Man 5 for the NES this year. I'm not writing that off. Like, that's just a collectible. That's just for me. But like, yeah, like when I buy a game to play on the podcast, yeah, I fucking write it off. It's I don't mean to steal the Seinfeld quote, but it's true. When he's like, you don't even know what a write-off is. But they do, and they're the ones writing it off. My accountant knows what they are. I don't exactly, but my accountant does write it off. So yeah, for those asking, which again, probably my 10 most frequently asked questions, I do write off a lot, not all, but a lot of my video games. Yes. It's a fringe benefit. I think. I don't even know exactly what a write-off is, but I think it's a fringe benefit. Darky Frost 11 said, what's up, Adam? After years of listening to your podcast, I finally decided to join your Patreon and give you my support. Feels great. Thank you, Dark. I appreciate that. I do have a question for you. I was listening to your Dead Space episode, and I was wondering if you got around to playing the remake, or if you haven't played it yet. And if you did play it, will you ever do a review on it? I'm not sure if you did already. I can't find it. Anyways, brother, great podcast. Keep it up. I will be around more. Thank you, Dark. So I did play the Dead Space remake. I think it's fucking superb. For all of you listening to this that have not played the Dead Space remake, grow up, go play the Dead Space remake, and enjoy the brilliance that it is, like I did and so many others have. I would have bet money, Dark, that I did do a review of it, but I also went digging back through the Patreon archives, and I can't find a review of it either. So now, if I'm remembering correctly, I think I skipped reviewing it because we had done the first Dead Space, not too long before the remake came out. And I was like, sure, the remake is great and everything, but I was like, I don't know if there's enough meat on the bone for like a whole second review. A lot of it was just better versions of sure, there's some changes, but a lot of it was just better versions of the first one. So I don't believe I did review it, but I think it's fantastic. I think the first Dead Space is fantastic as well. You can find that episode in the Remember the Game archives. And I do think the remake is fantastic. For those of you that are like, I've never played a Dead Space, what one should I go with first? If you're like a completionist who wants to see how it started and then go the full the full Monty, for lack of better, then start with the original Dead Space. But if you're like, I just want to play a good video game, Dead Space Remake is the definitive way to play Dead Space. It is very, very, very good. So, yes, I hope that answers your question, Dark. Thank you for the support, buddy. Too Much Karma said, hey, Adam, I was just curious and I noticed something. In older episodes of Remember the Game, your nephew Ben was a guest a few times. Will he ever make an appearance again, whether it's on Remember the Game or Expansion Pass, or maybe even at the Blankies? Another question that I get is a top 10 for sure is, when is my nephew coming back on the show? For those that don't know, yeah, my nephew was on the earliest episodes of RTG. He's almost 20 years old now. He lives here in Edmonton. He's got a job and a fucking house and whatever, like his own place, and he's busy and he's living his best life, and he's not a huge gamer anymore. He mostly just plays a couple of modern games. So I don't really we've actually talked about him coming back on the show because he comes over for dinner and stuff a lot, a little fucking Kramer, but we just haven't had the right. He doesn't play anything. He plays 2 games, and they're modern games. So there's just not a lot to do with him on the show, but never say never. I've told him if he wants to come back on, pick a game and we'll do it. So maybe someday. Nothing planned right now, but maybe someday. It's not like he hates me and he's not dead or anything. So Mac Daddy said, Adam, how much thought and planning goes into a console purchase for you? When I was younger, I would wait months, if not years, before carefully pulling the trigger. But with the Switch, I picked one up on a whim after a job interview where they were hard to come by. The Series X, the price dropped to a record low and I couldn't help myself. And now with the Switch 2, I bought one before the inevitable price increase. Yes, the prices. We talked about that. I can't remember what show we talked about that on, which podcast recently, where we were like, is this the first generation where prices are going up? And it is. And it's fucking blasphemous. It's insanity. If I'm being honest with you, Mac Daddy, I don't think any thought has ever gone into a console purchase for me. I just really like video games, and I buy the systems and play them. The first one I ever bought with my own money was my PS1. And the only thought that went into buying a PS1 was, when will I have enough money to buy a PS1? Because I had to save up for a while to buy it. And then my PS2, I was fortunate enough that I was working at a department store when the PS2 came out. So I got one, at launch. The lady that, oh my God, Darlene, rest in peace. The sweetest lady you've ever met. I adore that woman. She ran the electronics department at the Canix I worked at back when the PS2 was coming out. And she was like, hey, Adam, can you come back here for a minute? And she made it sound like I was in trouble. And we got along great. So I was like, uh-oh, what's up, Darlene? And then I went to the back and she was like, shh. and pointed at they'd only gotten like 3 PS2s in, and she had put one aside for me. So I bought it. Every penny I had fucking went to that PS2. But ever since then, no, I don't know. It's just, there's nothing else I'd rather spend my money on than, even when I wasn't playing a lot of games, I was buying video games because I just like, I don't know. It's what I like spending my money on. So no, I buy them, and I'll keep, like, when the PS6 comes out, I'm buying one. When the Switch 3 comes out, I'm buying one. If Xbox comes out with another system, I'm buying one. I don't know. If Sega ever comes out with another one, this one I'll probably buy it. What can I say? Joseph Grammer said, Adam, knowing your stance on emulation and game piracy, this question is burned in my mind. How do you look at the piracy of a video game that's a broken pile of shit? To add my personal experience, I recently played Final Fantasy X for the first time. I tried to play the 10 and 10 2. Fuck, I hate saying this name. I tried to play the 10 and 10-2 HD remaster. I hate that fucking name. When I booted it up, I found green screens during cutscenes and my game-breaking glitches when trying to play. I ended up playing the PS2 version on my PC through emulation. This question wouldn't escape me. I'd also like to apologize for my Kingdom Hearts comment from a month ago. I've heard and seen many more comments about the game since I asked, and I'll take this moment to put myself on double secret probation. Yeah, I'm not gonna, if you want to put yourself on DSP for it, I'll take it. I won't do it. But you're right. Ever since I read that one comment about fucking Kingdom Hearts, I have been hearing about it. For those that don't know, my stance on emulation is basically, if you can buy a game legally, don't be a piece of, or from the rights holder, I should say, not legally. If you can buy a game from the rights holder, I don't think you should be emulating it. I think you should pay somebody for their work. But if your only option is to go to the flea market and give somebody a stupid amount of money for an old NES cartridge or whatever, then fucking emulate it. Because it's not like the rights holders are getting any of that flea market money anyways. I mean, this seems like a pretty niche situation, but like, I mean, you said you bought it. You bought it on Steam and it didn't work. So like, as far as I'm concerned, like, I've done that. And I know it's going to sound stupid to some people. I have bought copies of games off of, like, you know, the PlayStation Network or whatever the fuck. Like, especially PS1 games. I'll go onto like the PlayStation store and buy it from like my PS3, but then I'll play it emulated on like my PS Classic. But then I'm like, you know what? I can sleep at night knowing that I did buy the legal copy. So you fucking bought it. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't know. Yeah. And then if you're like, yo, what if I hadn't bought it, but I had read all the reviews saying that it was a broken piece of shit? Then I don't know. Like, I don't know. Don't overthink this. Don't overthink this. What's the old saying, right? If you need to ask if you're doing something wrong, you're probably doing something wrong. My big criticism of people that emulate are people that emulate brand new games, because you're fucking thieves and you're pieces of shit. Or, now I've lost my train of thought. I'm so embarrassed to say a bird just flew by my window. I'm not making this up. I literally just glanced up at my window and a bird just flew by, and I'm just like, I've been playing too much Ghost of Yotei. A bird goes by and I'm like, fuck, I gotta follow that bird. There could be bamboo sticks or a hot tub somewhere with a fucking naked samurai in it. Then anyway, yeah, like I have problems with people that emulate brand new games because you're stealing. And then I have problems with people that emulate games because they're too expensive. It's a luxury item, you know, like it's fucking, doesn't mean Big Macs are too expensive now. Doesn't mean you can go and steal a Big Mac. But yeah, if a game doesn't work, fucking whatever. Do whatever you want. I'll tell you right now, if you're listening to this, emulate the Simpsons Skateboarding. Even if I'll go as far as to say, I'll be a hypocrite. Even if they were to re-release this fucking game in its original format, like if they cleaned it up and remade it or whatever, that's different. But if they were to release it as it is on the PSN right now for $20, $10, $5, 99 cents, I would be like, no, fuck them. Go emulate it. They don't deserve your money. This is a fucking con. This is maybe the biggest. This is like if Krusty the Clown made a video game. That's what this game is. Like, this is fine. Fuck, I hate this game. Finally, before we move on, it's letter time. Mild Oatmeal said, hey, Adam, great lover of hard NES games. There's a bunch of notable hard NES titles that escaped me when I was growing up, and now that I'm in my 40s, I think I need to take these bitches down. I'm thinking of doing a charity drive where the more titles I beat, the more my donors will donate and hopefully go from easiest to hardest. How would you rank these NES games in terms of difficulty? Ninja Turtles, Ghosts and Goblins, Batman, Ninja Gaiden, Battletoads. Am I missing any of the more famous hard titles? That's a good question. So I have not played the NES Ghosts and Goblins. I recently bought it because I do want to play it because I love the Super Nintendo version. And presuming because it's got the same DNA as the Super Nintendo one, it's probably fucking brutal as fuck. But I've not played that one. So of the four you suggested, I would rank those easiest to hardest, the NES games. I would go Ninja Turtles easiest, Batman at second, Ninja Gaiden at third, Battletoads at fourth. Now, granted, I've put a lot of time into playing Ninja Turtles and Batman, and I'm working on Ninja Gaiden and Battletoads right now. But even like it took me a fraction of the time, to get good enough at Ninja Turtles to beat it compared to Batman. And Battletoads, I'm not convinced I'll ever beat. And then Ninja Gaiden is just Ninja Gaiden's fine till World 5, and then it's fucking bullshit. So I would go easiest to hardest: Turtles, Batman, Ninja Gaiden, Battletoads. And then you also asked, are you missing out on any of the more famous hard titles? I know people are going to recommend, like, there's like Fester's Quest, Silver Surfer. There's lots of those. I'm going to pick some games that I've personally played that I also think are worth the time of playing, even though they're really tough. Castlevania 1 and 3. I don't really know Castlevania 2 that well. Obviously, I love the Mega Mans. Blaster Master is vicious. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Zelda 2. I'm sure there's more, but those are the ones that are coming to my mind off the top of my head. I know people will say Contra, but like, I don't find Contra that hard. Like, Contra's tough, but I don't think Contra's harder than any of those games I just listed. So what I'll do is I'll take what I consider to be the toughest of the 6 original Mega Mans, which is Mega Man 3, and then I'll take Castlevania 1 because I know it better than 3. So if I was re-ranking the games you recommended, plus some of the ones I just mentioned from easiest to hardest on the NES, I'll go Mega Man 3, Ninja Turtles, Batman, Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Battletoads, Blaster Master, Zelda 2. That's how I would rank those personally from easiest to hardest. So good luck, my friend. I want to do some more streams and some more videos of NES games. I for those that don't know, yeah, I do stream. I've been trying to get back into streaming a little bit more. Twitch.tv/memberthegame. Look for Member the Game on Twitch. Not Remember, Member the Game. Battletoads on the NES has been my big streaming game lately. I have such this weird fetish for just like finding NES tough games and just beating my head against the wall until I can finally crack the code to beat them. And I really enjoy it. I don't know, because I'm sick. I don't know. I'm fucking sick. Anyway, good luck, Mild Oatmeal. I like your username as well. Okay, we got to keep the ball rolling here, everybody. So let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there's no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in a minute. This week we're talking Simpsons Skateboarding. So I went with 3 not great retro Simpsons games. We have Bart versus the Space Mutants, Virtual Bart, and Simpsons Wrestling. And 36% of you said you would play Bart versus the Space Mutants, remake Simpsons Wrestling, and erase Virtual Bart. So let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Sailorman82 said, Oakley Dokley, play Simpsons Wrestling. It was worth a good laugh that it must be hilarious with a few beers. I'll save my feedback for my answer. Remake Virtual Bart because we love the awful platforming. We love the baby Bart and the clothesline. And who doesn't like Picture Day mayhem? Imagine Virtual Bart on modern consoles. Enough said. Unfortunately, erase Bart versus the Space Mutants. Well, I don't have a good reason. I don't have a good reason. Adam just said erase one. It is his fault. You know what? I would rather you blame me than break the rules. People that break the rules are the worst. At least you respected the rules, and I can get on board with that. I will say Virtual Bart remade could be good. The concept of Virtual Bart is great. It's the execution where everything goes horribly, horribly wrong. Tenor. How the fuck do you say that? Tanoarh. Tenor. So play Bart versus the Space Mutants. I've only played this one time. I've only played this one out of the 3, and as much as it sucked ass, I still go back and play it at times and try to beat it. I will remake Virtual Bart. Going from the review you did, this game is one of the worst Simpsons titles made, but it seems to have a good concept if it worked properly on a dedicated team interested in making a good game. It could be a hit. And then erase Simpsons Wrestling. You made enough comments over the year to let me know how shit this game is. If I want to play a bad wrestling game, I'll buy AEW Fight Forever. Oh. I got it for the record. I've never played Simpsons Wrestling. I've talked about its legacy, but I've never played that game. I will say if you want to play a bad wrestling game, AEW Fight Forever. Not hate on AEW. I like AEW, but Fight Forever is fucking... I've never found someone that defends that game. That game is fucking terrible. Polly Wally Crappy, good name, said, play Virtual Bart. I vividly remember hearing about this game when I was young and I never played it, so let's right that wrong. Remake Simpsons Wrestling. I'd love to go my GM mode with some Simpsons flavor mixed in. And then erase Bart versus the Space Mutants. I mastered level 1 but can never get past level 2. You know what? If the whole game was as good as level 1, Bart versus the Space Mutants would be remembered as a good game. Every level after 1, shit falls apart. But level 1's a good fucking level. Speaks to how good the game is. I am the very model of a modern Major General. So play Bart versus the Space Mutants because I remember seeing ads for this in comic books with this old withered hot dog with still a young Vienna sausage, and I'd like to play it in its original shit-tastic glory. Remake Virtual Bart because I haven't played it, and erase Simpsons Wrestling because I have played it. Plus SmackDown Here Comes the Pain exists, and if that doesn't scratch you where you itch, then you don't want to play a wrestling game to begin with. That's a fair point, and that's part of the problem with Simpsons Skateboarding. I'm sorry I'm jumping ahead, but that's part of the problem with Simpsons Skateboarding is like, how the fuck did you think this was okay in the world where we were still getting good Tony Hawk games? You thieving fucks. God damn it. Master Boyd said, play Simpsons Wrestling. Probably good for a laugh one way or the other. Remake Bart versus the Space Mutants as a modern sequel to Hit and Run, basically, but less focused on driving. This time around. Oh, I see. Like, less focused on driving like Hit and Run. I got you. And then erase Virtual Bart. It got trashed on by a podcast by this guy from Edmonton one time, and it's had its stink on it in my mind ever since. As it deserves. That game deserves all the... I will say, Virtual Bart, better game than Simpsons Skateboarding. Every game is better than Simpsons Skateboarding. I'm going with 36% of you. I am going with the majority. You got it right this week. As did Rainbow Rooster 4, who said play Bart versus the Space Mutants because you seem to really love it, and I want to see what makes it different from the other crappy NES games. Remake Simpsons Wrestling because that game, well, that game is an abomination. It could actually be fun if it was made right. And then erase Virtual Bart because why not? Fair enough. For the record, there's nothing that makes Bart versus the Space Mutants better than other crappy Simpsons games. I just like it more. It is shitty. Make no mistake. I just like it better. I'm going to play Bart versus the Space Mutants because I love it. I grew up with it. I think it's a good, bad. It's probably one of my favorite good or my favorite bad games ever. It sucks, but I love it. I'm going to remake Simpsons Wrestling. Very rarely do I remake games that I haven't played the original versions of. But after Simpsons Skateboarding, I'm not convinced I want to play Simpsons Wrestling. Because everyone says it's horrible. And I believe you after skateboarding. So I'm just going to remake Simpsons Wrestling, and make it good. Because that could be awesome. So I'm going to remake it and just make it not suck. And then I'm going to erase Virtual Bart because it's a fucking disgrace. And I do agree with those that said you could remake Virtual Bart and make it good. But I would rather waste my remake on making Simpsons Wrestling good than Virtual Bart. That fucking game. Anyways, thanks everybody that wrote in and played along as always. What have I been up to? And then we're getting into Simpsons Skateboarding. I've been playing Simpsons Skateboarding, but I'm done. I'll tell you about that in a couple of minutes. Can't fucking wait. I've been playing Ghost of Yotei. That's my focus right now. I got to get that game done. I think I'm definitely on the home stretch. It is awesome. I love that fucking game. Love that game. One of the best games of the year. It's fantastic. I did a complete run through Mario Kart Super Circuit for the GBA. That is going to be our RTG 361 to begin January. We actually have already had that game chat recorded. So that one's done, locked, and loaded. Good fucking game. I'm still tinkering with Arc Raiders. I still really love the gameplay loop. I just don't put as much time into it as I probably need to because I'm working on too many other games. And then I finally have started Metroid Prime 4 with intentions of reviewing both Ghost of Yotei and Prime 4 on Expansion Pass in hopefully in January. That's the goal. Sometime in January. All right, we're gonna pause here. We're gonna play a retro commercial. We're gonna let a sponsor in and peddle their wares. And when we get back, it is all about Simpsons Skateboarding for worst or for worst. Okay. Remember, the game will return after these messages.
Hey kids, are you sick and tired of video games that are horrible? That's why you'll love the Simpsons game. It's got all your favorite Springfield characters, like the fat guy, the blue-haired dame, their annoying little kids, plus aliens, gangsters, evil augers, and surprise guests. And the best part is, I'm the star. What? They can't play as me? What do you mean, ancillary character? The Simpsons game, rated T for teen.
PlayStation 3, starting at $3.99.
The show is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's the holiday season, and most of us have some kind of traditions this time of year. The routine get-togethers and parties. Maybe you're one of those families that opens a present on Christmas Eve. I was always so jealous of my friends that were in those families. Having those long-standing traditions is great, and starting new ones can be just as awesome. We all focus on making sure our loved ones enjoy the holidays, but it's important to look out for yourself during the busiest time of the year as well. Therapy can be a great way to do just that, and maybe it's time to start a new tradition of looking after yourself and your mental health. BetterHelp can make that a reality, and their flexible scheduling ensures you'll be able to fit them in around everything else you have going on in December. You can meet with your BetterHelp therapist online when and how it works best for you. And if it's not a fit, you can switch to another one of BetterHelp's over 30,000 therapists anytime for no additional charge. BetterHelp has helped over 5 million people around the world take the therapy plunge, and they have a 4.9 out of 5 rating for live sessions to back them up across 1.5 million reviews. This December, start a new tradition by taking care of you. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, I have put this off long enough. Let us get into Simpsons Skateboarding. I genuinely stopped playing it about 3 days ago, and I've been just dreading recording this because I hate this game so much. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I, or in this case, just I, hogged the microphone and talked about how crappy this game is. So let's see what some of you had to say. Davis Faith. I'm going Faith. Said, what is that? What the fuck is that? And I thought that as well, playing this game. Like, that applies so perfectly to this. Oh, it's so bad, you guys. JP Hendricks said, my God, I remember seeing this game existed on the internet back in the day. My town didn't have a proper gaming store, only Zellers, and their selection was limited. So every time my family and I went on vacation out of town, I'd beg my parents to take me to video game stores. I remember walking in, going straight to the clerk and asking if they had Simpsons Skateboarding so many times. It took so long, but I finally found a copy that I had to wait till the end of the vacation to play it at home. In my memories, it wasn't that bad, but that's probably nostalgia talking. I'd love to go back and play it again just to see how it has aged. And I got to tell you, JP, I could understand how someone that grew up with this game maybe has nostalgia for it. You know why we've never reviewed Simpsons Road Rage? Because I loved that. I loved that game back in the day, and I'm terrified of firing it up now and finding out that it's not half as good as I remember. Everyone's got those. So if you grew up with this game and I'm a little harder on it than you were like, I don't think it deserves that, you just haven't played it in a long time. I promise. You just haven't played it in a long time. Cornpocalypse said, apologies for being alliterative, but The Simpsons is a classic show. The Simpsons Skateboarding is a classic case of creating curated crap caused by conspiring to contort and convolute the carefully crafted charisma of classic characters into a completely confoundingly chaotic con of criminally crafted chaotic chaos. In other words, it sucks. Good. Not great. Good. That's good. I'm a fan of, what is that called? What is it? Alliteration, right? Is that alliteration? When you fucking say the same letter over and over again? Or is that onomatopoeia? Remember you learning those like in high school? Like onomatopoeia, alliteration. I think it's alliteration. Alliteration meaning the occurrence of the same letter sound. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. I got nothing else to add to it. Alliteration. Good stuff. The 1985 Canadian men's soccer team said, I think my only true memory of this game was how incredibly long the loading screens felt, and the gameplay was an abysmal Tony Hawk clone. Me and my brother rented this game one weekend as kids, and I think this may have been the only game we ever returned early. Buddy, I played this on my PS2, and I never want to dunk on a classic game for load times now, because like I'm like they were just part of that was just part of gaming back then. So I was like, are these load times that bad, or is it just that I'm not used to them now with modern consoles? But I agree, and I'm glad to hear someone that played it back in the day say that. The load times are fucking brutal in this game. They're really bad. Oh my God, it sucks. John C500. And they don't even have like a cool loading screen. They could have put like the TV up there with like a funny thing, like the technical difficulties, like with Kent Brockman's head coming out of the cuckoo clock, or the puppy that unplugged the thing, or the drunk cameraman. They don't even have that. It's just Bart on a skateboard sucking ass. Not literally, but almost. John C500 said, this released just before Christmas when I was 12. I asked my parents for it and eagerly awaited for Christmas Day. A Simpsons fanatic and a punk kid who loved skateboarding. It was a match made in heaven. What a complete shitty tire fire of a game. It's basically unplayable. The controls are terrible. The camera's worse. It's virtually impossible to even do jumps out of a half pipe. This game makes Simpsons wrestling look like a 10 out of 10. The only saving grace would be the playable characters and some of the lines of dialogue. For someone who lives and breathes Simpsons, 12-year-old me felt as low as Madonna when she found out she missed Tailhook. Not bad. Good pull. I can't speak to making wrestling look good. I don't even think I can agree that the lines of dialogue, as you're going to hear, there's a couple that weren't bad, but there's some horrible lines of dialogue in this game. Oh my God. I'm saving it, but I'm fucking ready to go. I hate this game. Philly East Side said, I won't forget this game for as long as I live. I had the chicken pox when this came out. My mother rented it for me for the weekend to cheer me up and make me forget how itchy and scratchy I was feeling. I could not have been happier seeing the extra Vision rental store box open and the Simpsons skateboarding disc inside. I played the first Springfield level and remember having anger tears as anger tears. I think what's that, like, troll face? Like, what that thing called? Like the one everybody knows, the white, like just the white background with the black, like, single troll face. The one of it crying with the, like, angry face. That's what I think of with anger tears. I remember having anger tears as I constantly bailed on the simplest of tricks, but I eventually cleared the first level. Fuck me, this game was horrendous. I'd say I made the most of it because I had it for the weekend. It was given the pass to play all day, so I soldered on. I eventually found that I could cheese air tricks and earn huge air combos by just wiggling the thumbstick and mashing square and circle, and I got through the game. I gave it back to her on Sunday, said thank you because it was a nice thing she tried to do for me, and was glad to throw it into the returns bin at the shop. Fuck this poxy game. Sounds like you had more fun. I would rather have chicken pox. And I'm 42. If I'm not mistaken, as an adult, the chicken pox could kill you. I would rather get the chicken pox than be challenged to 100% this fucking game. It is that bad. It is. Oh, let's talk about it. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Even the music. The music that we played off the top half an hour ago, that was like the best track in the game. The music I'm about to play is from the Springfield Mall level. Listen to this shit. Tell me that doesn't make you want to go skateboarding. Oh my, and it's just that in like a 20-second loop the whole time. Oh God, let's talk Simpsons skateboarding. And unfortunately for all of us, it will be released on the PS2 on November 12th, 2002. Enjoy the episode. That's the music from the Springfield Mall. That's the Springfield Mall level. And the mall level should be fun. I've always thought West Edmonton Mall would make for a great skateboard level on like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. Because there's lots of like rails and stuff to grind on. You could do it in the fountains. You could go into the stores. It'd be very easy to turn stuff into benches or put a couple of, like half pipes and put some tricks in there. But the mall, I'm going to get into it, but the mall sucks. Everything sucks. Everything about this game sucks. I thought this would be a fun Christmas Eve episode. We'd fuck around and have a laugh at how this game is like, it's classic Simpsons game. You know, like it's not that there's a bad idea in there, or that the idea is not horrible, but the execution's not great. All right, and there's tons of Simpsons games that are like that. And I used to think games like Bart versus the Space Mutants, Bart's Nightmare, I used to think those were bad games. Friends, I'm telling you, compared to Simpsons skateboarding, Bart versus the Space Mutants is fucking Super Mario Brothers 3. Compared to Simpsons skateboarding, Virtual Bart, which I consider to be among, if not the worst Simpsons game I'd played up until now, Virtual Bart is Bart versus the Space Mutants. Like, everything moves up one tier on the rankings list of how bad a game is to make sure there's room at the bottom for Simpsons skateboarding all by itself. And I want to make this abundantly clear. I am not saying this to get a reaction. This is not an exaggeration, a hyperbole, as the kids say these days. I'm not fucking around. I've let this digest. I finished playing this game on the weekend. It's now Tuesday morning, and I've been putting off recording this episode for a couple of days just to kind of let it sink in and simmer and stew and digest and percolate and think like, is it really that bad? This is quite possibly the worst game I've ever played. Obviously, Echo the Dolphin, Mario's Missing, those are ones that come up around here all the time. Dude, Echo the Dolphin is a fucking Game of the Year winner compared to Simpsons skateboarding. I genuinely would rather play Mario is Missing than The Simpsons Skateboarding. Because, well, Mario is Missing is a fucking bait and switch to makes it look cool, and it's just a stupid education game, and it's not particularly fun. It doesn't platform that well. Soundtrack's not as good as they say it is, and I don't know the answer to any of the trivia questions. At least it does that. At least you walk around cities answering trivia questions. I would rather walk around a city and try to answer trivia questions than play Simpsons Skateboarding. It's just that bad. And I've been trying to figure out how to tackle this review. Do I go with like a satire approach and kind of like, for those of you that are Patreons, you've heard my parody reviews of Bluey the dog or whatever, Bluey the video game, and My Friend Peppa Pig. I've done parody reviews of those games on Expansion Pass where I review it like it's a serious game, even though it's not, and I have some fun with it, and they're good. But I've decided I don't want to do that with The Simpsons Skateboarding. A, because it doesn't deserve to be made fun, like to have any humor injected in it, and B, because I would feel horrible if somebody listened to that episode and then said to themselves, you know what, he actually made it sound not quite that bad. I'm going to go pick up a copy. Nobody should play this ever. This is so bad. So I'm not going to do the like fun satire approach. And then I thought, do I go just smoking scorched earth, whatever the fuck, Angry Adam, and just tear this game a new ass? But I'm like, I'm not going to dignify The Simpsons skateboarding with Angry Adam. I think I'm just going to explain why it's so shitty. And yeah, I'll probably mix in a couple of Simpsons quotes and try to have some fun with it. But this blew up in my face horribly. I thought this would be a really funny thing to end the year with. And it's just, there's nothing good. And the most frustrating part of the fact that there's nothing good is that in theory, and keep in mind, in theory, communism works. Shout out Tony gets that reference. In theory, this could have been a great fucking game. Every aspect of this could have worked. The Simpsons have done other rip-off games. Like I'm terrified to review The Simpsons Road Rage on Remember the Game, which if you haven't played it is a blatant Crazy Taxi ripoff with Simpsons characters, because I actually really, really like that game. And I'm scared that but I haven't played it in 20 years, and I'm terrified that if I was to fire it up now, I'd be like, actually, this is pretty shitty. And I guarantee you there's at least one person listening to this episode that played The Simpsons Skateboarding growing up that was like, dude, I didn't think it was that bad. You haven't played it since you were growing up if you don't think this game is that bad. And that's what I was trying to say, is that like everything about it could have worked, right? Road Rage is a half-assed Crazy Taxi, but it worked. The sound bites are funny. You get to drive around Springfield and the different characters with the different cars. It's not without its flaws, but at least there's enough humor in there to carry it. This game, the humor, I thought, like, I knew the skateboarding wouldn't be as good as Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and I don't expect it. I'm not, like, you're a damn fool if you're buying the Simpsons Skateboarding expecting to get a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. But I was expecting at least something comparable. Nothing about it works. The humor doesn't save it. The locations are fucking stupid. The playable characters, their voice acting sounds fake. It's like and then the controls. The controls are fucking terrible. But had the locations been a little bit better conceived, had the voice acting been a little bit better, had they just tweaked the controls a little more, everything about this game, like I would have happily accepted 50% of Tony Hawk Pro Skater as far as quality goes in exchange for the humor that comes with playing The Simpsons as a skateboarding game. But none of it happened. It feels like they made this game in 3 days. 3 days. I swear to God. And I don't know, like, I just heard myself say that the release date was November 12th or something. So that's what, 6 weeks before Christmas. I have to imagine it's one of two situations. Either A, they wanted it out in time for Christmas, so they were like, we don't give a fuck, it's playable, get it out there. Or B, they ran out of money. And they were like, we have put enough money into this, it's not going to get any better, just get it out and try to cut our fucking losses. I don't know which one it is. Either one is fucking unacceptable. So if you've not played it, obviously, it's a Simpsons skateboarding game, and you pick from a variety of Simpsons characters. A whole bunch of them are unlockable. We'll talk about all that. And then you start out at Springfield Elementary, but you work your way through the game, go into a whole bunch of different levels. And every time you go into a level, you have 3 options. You can either do like Skater School or something, which basically is just teaching you how to do like different flips and kicks and holds and ollies and grinds and gnars and shreds and all that kind of stuff. Millie, I know this game is terrible, puppy, but you got to calm down. She's trying to get my attention. I really got to get through this. I want this off my life. I want this out of my life, puppy. Let me just finish this. So every time you go into a level, you can do like a tutorial level to learn a couple of new moves, which I'm still not going to say it's good. I think you should just make the tutorial like an option at the menu instead of me having to go into each individual, because you got to put up with the load times, and then it fucking gives you like Springfield Elementary, Springfield Gorge, Itchy and Scratchy Land. I'll go through all the different levels later. But every time you unlock a new level, there's a new tutorial mode that teaches you a couple more moves. And so if you weren't using the instruction manual, or if you hadn't played Tony Hawk Pro Skater and you didn't know the moves, it expects you to beat each level with just the most basic bitch moves, then go on to the next one. And they're like, oh yeah, by the way, that last level, you could have also done this. By the way, that last level, you could have also done this. Even in a world where tutorials have become so overplayed and so overdone, and we're all sick of the super long, boring tutorials at the beginning of games, even compared to that, the Simpsons Skateboarding is inferior. Even their tutorials are fucking abysmal. And here's the, oh my God, choking on my own rage here. It took me like 5 minutes to get to one of those. When you do the tutorial, you have to like, it'll tell you to, because it's the same basic controls as Tony Hawk Pro Skater, right? Hold X. And then when you go off of like a ramp or whatever, let go of X at near the top to get the biggest jump you can. And then when you're in the air, any direction in circle does like a grab, any direction in square does a flip, all that kind of stuff. All the things. Triangle is your grinding button. It's all the same things that anyone that's played Tony Hawk Pro Skater has done a million fucking times, right? But every tutorial is like so slow. It's like, okay, can you do... I don't know the names of any skateboarding moves, but let's just say it's a 180 grab is fucking left in circle. So then it tells you to do 2 180 grabs, and then you fucking do them. Now do 2 7 or 180 grabs the other way, and you do them. And it's so fucking boring, and it's so fucking tedious. And when you do them, you unlock 5 cents or something per fucking lesson that you complete. And then you can pause the game at any time and go into the shop menu and then take whatever character you're playing as and put that money into leveling up their stat points. Because every character's got different points for like grinding, their jumps, their flips, like all the basic stuff like that. So you can put it in. But the worst, there's like 9 playable characters, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 playable characters. You have to play the tutorial on every level with every character if you want to get that money. Like it's not, you like Bart is the default first, like say, I think Homer's your first character. But okay, so you play as Homer and you go to Springfield Elementary and you do the stupid boring lessons and you learn how to do kickflips and shit like that. And you get like 25 cents that you can go and buy 4 or 5 stat points to level up some of your stats, right? Then I decided to play as Bart because I went through and played as every character to see if any of them were better or worse or redeemable or not. So then you go to Bart and you're like, okay, I'm going to level up his stats. Nah, go and do that fucking tutorial again. They're so boring and they're so slow and you have to do them 9 times. And not only do you have to do the tutorial level 9 times to get through it with all 9 characters, you have to do them on every level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 levels. So 10 levels times 9 characters is 90. 90 fucking tutorials. And then each tutorial is like 4 or 5 moves. So say it's 4 moves. So to go 90 times 4, 360 fucking tutorials to unlock enough money to fucking make your characters playable. It's just, what a horrible, horrible system. And the tutorials aren't even fucking good. For example, the 3rd level, I think. The 3rd level, or is it the 2nd level? It might be the 2nd level. I think it's the 2nd level. I think it is. It's the 2nd level. The 2nd level teaches you how to grind. And one of the things it asks you to do is hold grinds for 5 consecutive seconds. But the problem is there's so few areas in the level that you can grind for 5 consecutive seconds without running into an edge and having the grind end. I must have tried to do that fucking grind tutorial for like 20 minutes and I couldn't do it. And it's not because I don't know how to make a character grind on a rail for 5 seconds. It's because there's so few rails in the level that are long enough to stay on for 5 seconds. And finally I was like, fuck this. And I just rage quitted. I was like, I'm not playing. I rage quit the fucking tutorial. And the worst part is because I didn't finish the tutorial, I didn't unlock the money that I needed to upgrade the grind stats to make it easier to complete the grind to unlock the fucking tutorial. Awful. Awful. So that's the first mode in the single player, is the fucking skate school for every fucking level. It's terrible. And then above and beyond, you have the two more, and I say this with the biggest air quotes in the history of our species, the two fun modes. And one of them is like it is in Tony Hawk Pro Skater, where you go into a level and you have a bunch of different challenges and objectives and goals to do, and you work your way through them. And then the other one is you go into like a skating competition at that level, and if you can beat the high score, you unlock a new skater. I'm going to put my cards on the table. There wasn't a single level where I completed all 5 objectives. And yes, I want to make it clear, each level has 5 objectives. It's not like Tony Hawk Pro Skater where you unlock a list of a dozen. You have 5. And the objectives fucking suck. And half of them are the same. So you go into a level and you do its fucking stupid 5 objectives, which I never once finished. And then you also get to do this skateboarding challenge to unlock characters, which I tried to do a few times, couldn't get through because my characters were too fucking low leveled because I didn't want to go through all the tutorials. And then I Googled it and thanked the good Lord for retro gaming cheat codes. All you had to do was go into the menu where you pick a new character and then you just like hold L1, and it's not even, they're not even the codes, even the cheat codes are half-assed, my friends. It's not like the Konami code, like up, up, down, down, left, right. Like it's nothing great or anything like that. It is literally hold L1 and then push like triangle, circle, square, X. Like you just push each one time and then it's done. It's just, oh my God, even the cheat codes are half-assed piles of shit. But I did use the cheat codes to unlock every level and to unlock every character because straight up, this episode wasn't going to happen. Was not going to happen had I not used the cheat codes to unlock that shit. It's just a fucking abomination. Oh my fucking God. So I want to work through the characters. I want to work through the levels. I want to work through the stupid challenges that you have to do, and then we'll call this a horrible episode. Oh my God, I hate this game so much. Let's pause here. I need a drink, so let me pause of water. It's fucking 9:30 in the morning. It is the holidays though. Let me take a quick break here. We'll let a sponsor in. This commercial I'm about to play will be better than Simpsons Skateboarding, and when it gets back, I'll tell you about the characters, the levels, and every other thing I hate about this fucking game. Okay? Remember, the game will return after these messages.
Excitement! Shove this up your stocking!
Whoa!
That looks entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
So tell your folks, buy me, Bone Storm, or go to hell!
Buy me, Bone Storm, or go to hell!
All right. So there are 9 playable characters. And again, my hope going into this game, while I was aware of the bad reviews, was that at least the humor would carry it. We get to play as some funny characters, get to hear them say funny things about skateboarding and their inability to skateboard, and it would salvage it. But the 9 playable, the only thing I guess I could maybe say about this game is that the playable character roster, not horrible. They play horrible. They're not funny. They're not well voice acted. They don't look good. Everything about them sucks. But at least the choice of the 9 playable characters isn't bad. To start the game, you have Homer, Bart, Marge, and Lisa. And I got to tell you, well, each of the 4 of them have their own stats. I found Homer and Bart. You would think Bart would be the best. He is a skateboarder. You would think he'd be like the best character, or at least like the most all-around character or something. But no, he sucks. He sucks. I actually found Marge and Lisa to be by far the 2 easy. Marge, my girl. Marge was the easiest character to play as. Her only weakness was her grinding is low, which I never leveled up because I didn't want to spend the money because I didn't want to go through the fucking tutorials again to do it. I really thought once I beat them once, I'd have them, but no. But Marge was actually the most playable character of the 4. So that's how the game starts out. And then as I said, in each level, there's like a skating competition, and if you can put up the high score, then you unlock another character to join your roster. After attempting those a couple of times and not being able to because the controls, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, just fucking shit. I finally just said, fuck it, looked up the cheat code, put in the very lazy half-ass cheat code, and unlocked the rest of the characters. So in addition to Bart, Homer, Marge, and Lisa, you end up getting Nelson, Otto, Professor Frink, Krusty the Clown, and Chief Wiggum. And I'll hear an argument that it would have been, I mean, Otto makes sense. Nelson's a kid, makes sense. Professor Frink, it makes sense, in theory, because there's problems with all these characters. Professor Frink makes sense in a way because he's got his hoverboard, which is kind of neat. Why it's Chief Wiggum and Krusty, I have absolutely no idea. At least Krusty is I will say, okay, so of the 9 characters, Krusty is the best animated. The bar is fucking low, but Krusty is at least the best animated. His skateboard is a little bit bigger than a lot of the other ones, and it just has 2 wheels, like one in the middle on the front and the back, and he has his big floppy clown shoes, and they do look... They look a little bit humorous on this otherwise stupid-looking skateboard. Doesn't salvage the game at all, but at least I could enjoy this should speak to how rotten this game is. For long-time listeners of this show, I am a notorious feet hater. I detest feet. I think they're the most disgusting part of the human body. I don't give a fuck who it is. I don't give a shit how beautiful or how hot they are, how clean they say their feet are. Feet repulse me. Looking at Krusty's big clown-shoed feet was the most satisfying part of this entire game. Awful. So those are your 9 characters, and you would think at least you get to hear them and they all get to be funny. Most of them aren't even funny. And over and above that, I have to say, the voice acting doesn't sound like it's actually from the voice actors on the show. I'm quite confident it probably is. I am going to look that up because I never even thought of that. The voices all sound like horrible impressions. Like they don't even sound like, yeah, it really was the core cast that did their voices. They just don't sound like themselves. Like I can imagine the Simpsons voice actors recording their lines for this game, like Krusty recording the lines for his talking Krusty doll. Like just coming in and being like, hey kids, it's Krusty the Clown or whatever and just in and out, bada bing, bada boom, there you go, kid. And they're like, it's done. Like they're so fucking bad. And some of the Bart should be the easiest fucking character to voice in this game because he is a skateboarder. Have him say cowabunga and get at him or don't have a cow man and the stupid things that he says. You know what Bart says like every 3 fucking seconds when you play as him? I'm a shredophile. I'm a shredophile. I'm a shredophile. Shredophile. That's all he says is that he's a fucking shredophile. How is that even funny? Over and above the annoyingness of him repeating it so much because they had the budget for each character to say 5 words. Over and above that, how is shredophile funny? It's so stupid. So Bart, out the window. Not that good to play as. And he's a shredophile. It's so fucking annoying. All Homer fucking does is whine and call everyone stupid except me. And then he just whines all the time like, oh, ow, oh, ow, oh, ow. It's terrible. It sounds like he's shaving with like a dry fucking razor. It's terrible. Marge, admittedly, actually a little bit funny. Marge, why aren't we wearing helmets? And I that actually made me, I was like, that's something Marge would say. That wasn't bad. Lisa is just boring. Like, her voice acting is probably the best in the game, but she's just boring. The only cool thing about Lisa is when you're standing still, like waiting to skate, different characters do different things. Lisa's like meditating and like hovering over top of her skateboard. It's actually kind of cool. But other than that, Lisa's just very, very boring. Nelson. Now, this is more Grady voice Nelson. This isn't the old school, like, Nelson. This is, he's got that more Kirk Van Houten sound of voice that he has in the later episode. Like, that's the voice he's got in this game. But he just sounds like he's taking a shit. I'm not even kidding. And I'm not saying that, like, to be, like, it's, like, literally, like 2/3 of the time you're playing as Nelson, he's just grunting. Just, it sounds like he's taking a dump. Like that's, and then they even try to mix it. They even try to put in like some classic lines, but the classic lines aren't delivered right. For example, Nelson, sometimes when you do a trick, will sing his joy to the world, the teacher's dead. We barbecued her head, which is a line that he says in an episode of The Simpsons. But he doesn't deliver it like that in the game because, again, it sounds like the voice actors did their lines in 30 seconds and walked out. He goes, if you didn't know that that is how it's supposed to be delivered, like it's him singing this song, in this game he goes, joy to the world, the teacher's dead. We barbecued her head. Like, it just sounds like he's a fucking cannibal. It doesn't sound like he's trying to, like, do a parody of a song or anything. So even when he does say something that's not just him sounding like he's taking his shit, it's him singing about eating his teacher's head, and it's not done in a funny way. Terrible. Otto is not very enjoyable. You can barely hear Otto. Like, and that's one problem with the game, too. Is, like, the voice acting is so... Like and I know you can go into the options and like tinker and turn the music down and shit like that, but like I shouldn't, by default, I should be able to hear them over top of the music. And some of the characters you could barely hear, and Otto is one of the worst, man. You can barely hear a word that guy says. The only redeemable thing about Otto as a playable character in this game is each character has different collectibles to collect. Like Homer collects donuts, Marge collects hairspray, which is kind of funny. One of Otto's collectibles is eviction notices, and that, fair enough, that made me chuckle. That was good. Other than that, Otto sucks. Professor Frink, dude, I adore Professor Frink. He's such a great character, and I was stoked to see that he was playable with a hoverboard, and I was like, oh, this could be funny, because it'd be so easy to make him say things like, the gravity could possibly take away from the kickflip of my backslide 180. You know, like whatever, like easy shit like that. You can barely understand what Frink is saying either, not only because his voice is so low, but listen to this. He's on this hoverboard. Every time you leave the ground, whether it's like a little kickflip, you go up into a pipe, you grind, whatever, every single time, all four of his wheels would go up in the air and then come back down to the ground. His hoverboard makes this like noise, like it's letting the air out. But it sounds like someone is blowing their nose because it's so loud, and it's louder than the music. It's much louder than their voice acting. So you're just trying to play a little bit as Professor Frink and have a couple of laughs at some of the stupid things that he would. Oh, he sings his Professor Frink. Professor Frink can make you laugh. He'll make you think. He sings it, but he sings it out of tune, and it makes no sense. There's no context. And every time you land, it just goes. Every time. What a horrible decision. Awful, awful, awful decision. Awful. Krusty is the most enjoyable character. Best animation, funniest skateboard, his big feet. I actually found him somewhat easy to play. Doesn't really have any good lines, but I think I'm going to have another heart attack. I think I'm having another heart attack. But at least he's animated properly and is kind of funny. And then Chief Wiggum, who is like probably my favorite character in the world of The Simpsons outside of Moe. He's not without his charm. He does look kind of funny on his skateboard with his big belly and his little feet, and he's in his full copper uniform and everything. I actually find him hard to see around because he is so robust. So it can be kind of hard to see the rails and shit in front of you that you want to grind on or jump off of or whatever the fuck. Other than that, he's pretty forgettable. He does have one line. I don't know the context of it, but you'll just be like skating along, and then Chief Wiggum will go, geez, that chili's running through me like a freight train. And see, again, it sounds like Nelson's taking a shit. Wiggum talks about having to take a shit. So those are the 9 playable characters. Nothing all that memorable or unique about any of them. None of them. The graphics are fucking... I am not a graphic snob, okay? I've said it a billion times on this show. If your game is fun, I don't particularly give a shit what it looks like. But this is not fun. And so you'd think like at least maybe it's nice to look at. It is not. It is... Season 1 of The Simpsons looks substantially better than this does. This is just, it doesn't look finished. Dude, and the number of times that you're constantly clipping through walls or clipping through floors and you can just see like nothing around and then it fucks up your jump and all that kind of stuff. So it looks, the characters look terrible. And then in addition to the 9 playable characters, there's not a bunch, but there's other characters that are just standing around. And as you skate by them, they run away and say things. and they're really not particularly funny, and their lines aren't delivered right either. They say the same things over and over and over again. And the number one character that you see walking or running around that you think like, oh, that could be funny is Ralph. But he your skating hurts my eyes, but it doesn't sound right. And he goes, how did they fuck this up? They gave him his go banana line. One line that everybody knows. Go banana. He says go banana. Like, it's like he's saying go bananas, but he goes go banana. So it doesn't even that's not delivered right. So even when you see the characters standing around, sometimes you'll see Smithers, sometimes you'll see Barney, Hans Moleman is standing around, and sometimes you see them and you think like, oh, I'll go over and skate by them and at least make them say something funny. They don't say anything funny. They reappear all over the place in the same fucking levels. They were clearly just put in there to try to distract you from the complete and utter trash that is the fucking game. It's horrible. It's fucking horrible. Oh, and the menu system. Oh, it's like this blue iPad looking thing. And every time so say you hit pause. So it brings up the blue menu thing. And then you want to go to the list of objectives to see what the objectives are for that level. So you click the objectives and then so it's like 2 or 3 clicks. And every time you click, it takes this big metal like donk, 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 donk as you flip through, and then the screen flips over, screen flips over, screen flips over, screen flips over. And then as you back out, Homer does every time. Do you have any idea how obnoxious it is to just hear dow, 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 dow as you're trying to back out of the menus? And it's not funny like the montage of does from that episode, the April Fool's Day episode. It's just the one same monotonous, tedious, monotone dough. Over there. That's what they all say. They all say dough. Fucking terrible. So the menu is and when you select something, he goes woohoo, woo, dough, woo, dough, woo, dough, woo, dough, over it, over it, over. So the lines aren't delivered right. The characters look stupid. The fucking menus are obnoxious. Each level is filled with the same shitty the commentary. It has commentary because the music is terrible. And you've heard some of it. I've already played some of it, and I'll keep playing more. And of course, I don't expect them to go out with Simpsons Skateboarding and pay for the rights to like Rage Against the Machine and stuff. Like, I don't expect the soundtrack of the Simpsons Skateboarding to stack up against Tony Hawk Pro Skater's soundtrack. Of course not. But like, the music is, it's like 30-second, you'd swear it was like royalty-free music, and they just went and got 30-second clips and just played them over and over again. And then they do patch in some commentary on top of the music, and you would think like, oh, thank fuck. I don't have to listen to the horrible voice acting, and I don't have to listen to the horrible music. At least there's some commentary. The main commentator is Kent Brockman, and I will give them credit. This is the one voice where does actually sound like Kent Brockman. And he obviously had to record more lines than the rest of the characters, so I'm sure they put a little bit more time into it. But it really does sound like Kent Brockman, and every time you start a level, it pans over the level and shows you where some of the objectives are, like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game would. And Kent Brockman explains, like, one of the levels is Burns' Manor, and Kent Brockman's like, hello, I'm Kent Brockman. Everybody in town has skateboard fever. Even our local miser, Montgomery Burns, has opened his mansion up to the skateboarders. Although he has put a policy in place where he's allowed to shoot the skaters on sight. Classic. Or something like that. So like the humor's not funny, but at least it does sound like Kent Brockman. And then other characters that pop up in different levels and commentate are Principal Skinner, Groundskeeper Willie, Apu. Apu's lines are terrible and not memorable. Willie's lines aren't really all that. Willie should be the best color commentator, because Willie could be like, ugh, and just say his like stupid off-color comments every time you fuck up, but he doesn't. There's nothing entertaining about it. Principal Skinner is there, especially the first level, which is Springfield Elementary. And the only thing Skinner said that actually does make me laugh is I kept fucking up this one jump. And then Skinner goes, looks like you belong in a special class or something like that. The way it was delivered was actually remotely funny. But other than that, the commentary is not very good. It is there to help blur out or to fucking drown out the music and the fucking comments by the players, so the characters. So I guess at least there's that. But the commentary is not good either. And then these fucking levels, kids. So the first level, Springfield Elementary. And again, like, when I think I've played. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm like a hardcore Tony Hawk Pro Skater veteran that knows every game like the back of his hand or anything. Because I don't. I played the first 4, and then I think I played Thug, and I don't know if I've played one since. But I used to love those games, and I do know those games fairly well. And I know the controls, like I know the muscle memory. Playing the remakes, like that muscle, the controls came right back to me and everything like that. And that was all well and good. And this game does lift a lot of controls from them. Like I said, over and above the kick, the flip moves, the hold moves, the grind moves. What is it called? A manual, when you land and you can hit like down, up, or up, down, and then try to make them grind on 2 wheels to extend your combo. All that is in here. It's just not particularly well implemented. But the levels, dude, Tony Hawk Pro Skater had some of the funnest levels of all time, doing these crazy jumps off buildings and grinding across power lines and all this fucking wild shit. This game just took a locale, in this case, the first level, Springfield Elementary, and then just surrounded the outside of the school with crap. There's just like, you would think, oh, let me go in this school and maybe I can fucking, go into classrooms or go down the halls or go into the gymnasium or go into the lunchroom or the cafeteria or anything. No, you do not get to go in this school. You just skateboard around the school. And you're like, oh, well, whatever. At least there's probably like a cool playground there. Maybe they built a skate park behind the school and shit like that. No, it's just filled with random crap. It's just Springfield Elementary is all of a sudden in the middle of downtown Springfield, just surrounded by buildings, and you can't even do anything with most of the fucking buildings. And then there's just red grinding pipe rails everywhere. Like, it looks like Homer's car as a skateboarding level. There's just random fucking cables and wires and bars and shit everywhere, random holes to fall in. And then and this is the first level, my friends. This is the first level. Besides Springfield Elementary, there's like this big, long sewer trench. And if you go down in it, and you kind of have to because that's where one of the letters are, because you got to spell a word in every level like you do in Tony Hawk. When you go down into it, it is like pulling teeth trying to get out. There is a pipe off to the side that you don't see. Otherwise, you try to skate back up out of this massive fucking sewer drain that just happens to be dug right beside Springfield Elementary, and you can't get enough speed to get out. You'll get almost to the top and then turn around to get sent back down, and all your objectives are timed once you start them, and then you get stuck in this fucking sewer. You have to spell Skinner. That's what the word you have to spell in the Springfield Elementary stage is Skinner. And as soon as you pick up the S to start it, then the clock starts ticking. And you have like 90 seconds or something like that. And it's fairly obvious where all the letters are. Like, they're set up, you get the S, you come down this like hill to start the level, and then you hit a ramp that's sitting in front of Springfield Elementary. You jump up in the air, you grab the S. Then you see the K floating on top of a short little brick wall, and all you have to do is grind on the brick wall. God, fuck, I wish it was that easy. It is so difficult to line up before that K, land on the wall, and then grind to it. And you can't just jump over the wall and grab the K. It's like, fuck you, grind on it. So then you get that. Then you see the I over there, so you go over and get the I. Then you get an N. Then you get another N. But once you get the second N, you've reached the top of this road beside Springfield Elementary. Oh yeah, and Burns' Manor is just sitting at the top of the hill behind Springfield Elementary, as it is in the show, right? Fucking burp derp. So then you go into this big toxic sewer fucking pipe thing I've been talking about that extends the whole length of the level, and the E of Skinner is sitting right at the top, and all you have to do is go down, go up a tiny little ramp, and then grind across this bar and grab the E. But you have to have enough speed to grind far enough across the bar to get the E, and if you don't have enough speed to get across, what happens? You fall. Does it hurt you? No, not really. You just land in this big, long sewer hill pipe, and then you go all the way to the bottom and can't find your way out. If you miss the E, you basically fuck yourself and have to restart the entire Skinner thing over and over again. And I know that that's part of Tony Hawk Pro Skater as well, but at least in Tony Hawk Pro Skater, there's that sense of reward and fulfillment when you pull off a tough challenge because the controls are so responsive and so good that you feel like you did something immaculate. In this one, like, it feels like It feels like Homer designed Tony Hawk Pro Skater. All the buttons do the same things, but they do them so slow. And the way you dude, the amount of times my skater just got stuck on a corner or between two things or in a wall and I couldn't get turned around and it was just wasting fucking time. And then you finally get out of the wall and then it's so slow to get them to start picking up a little bit of speed. Oh, trying to grind on some of these bars, you got to be so perfectly lined up, but the controls are so horrible to do it. It doesn't work. I hate it. Fuck, I hate that fucking level. So in every level you have to spell something. And I did finally do it. I spelled Skinner. I picked up all the letters and I spelled Skinner. And then when you do it, it says, "You're Skinnerific," in like the most bland Arial font you've ever seen. Like there's nothing special to it. There's no like quote from Skinner or anything like that. It just says, "You're Skinnerific," and then you just go on to the next objective. It's fucking terrible. And then at Springfield Elementary, you also have to go around and collect 5 kids that are skipping school. Very, very easy. There's like giant arrows showing you where they are, and you just skate by them, and they don't even say anything funny. You just fucking get them. It's terrible. Oh, I just realized looking at this, I have a game FAQ for this one brought up to remind myself of some of the objectives. Apparently it's not Burns' house behind the school, it's Skinner's mother's house. That is, all right, that is kind of funny that it's on the hill, but it doesn't look like it. And it still sucks, but all right, that is funny. So you only have to do the first 2 objectives of a level to unlock the next level. You either have to beat the skater in the skate competition to unlock the next skater, or just to do the first 2 of 5 challenges in a level to unlock the next level. So on the Springfield Elementary, you have to do Kid Catcher, where you just go around and get the 5 kids and collect the letters to spell Skinner, which is a lot fucking harder than it sounds. So I did both of those. Then you also have to do Shopaholic, where all you do is skate around Springfield Elementary and go to the Krusty Burger, go to Moe's Tavern, go to fucking all these businesses that are right beside Springfield Elementary, and all you have to do is skate by them and touch their there's like a rotating sign out front. Touch the sign that says closed, and then it's closed. That's the objective. It's as fulfilling as it sounds. Then you have to collect a whole bunch of your character's items, which again, like with Otto, it's the eviction notice, Homer Eats Donuts, stuff like that. You collect their items. And then there's a few areas where there are clocks, and once you touch a clock, you have a certain amount of time to put up a certain score doing tricks and combos and stuff like that. But again, you have to do these with every single character. It's fucking... Nothing about it is fun, and it just controls so fucking bad. So that's the level I spent the most time in, because I was trying to figure out how to play the game, and that was when I basically rage quit the game and put in the cheat codes. But I will quickly walk you... Dude, level 2 is downtown Springfield. It's downtown Springfield, which, like, the Quickie Mart is there. The Springfield Prison is there, which Kent Brockman explains off the top. They've opened up and turned into part of a skating level, but you don't actually get to go into the Springfield Prison and, like, grind on the bars and do the cells and shit like that. It's fucking terrible. Apu is there to do some commentary, which is funny. One of the objectives you have in downtown Springfield is you have to cut the head off Jebediah Springfield statue again. And all you have to do this is there's a trash can beside the statue, and you don't have to do anything to the trash can, just skate near it. It'll fall over. Skinner, who is guarding the statue for some reason, will go over to the garbage can, and then you have 60 seconds to just get ahead of steam, hit the ramp beside Jebediah Springfield, and do a jump off of it. And then as you go over the statue, you'll cut off the head. And I must have... Dude, the fact that it gives you 60 seconds to complete a jump that takes about 3 shows you how difficult it is to get enough speed and to be in the perfect exact alignment to jump over this statue and cut its head off. If you don't have enough speed, you just bump into his chest and fall down. If you're not exactly perfectly square on with his head, then it doesn't fucking cut it off. And I missed it so many times. And I was like, like the developers knew it sucked, because they're like, this should take a player 5 to 10 seconds. Let's give them a minute with no penalty if they're wrong to try again, because they know, awful. So that's downtown Springfield. It's not very good. Burns' Manor is level 3, which I was very excited about. And out of the gate, I was like, this is going to be my favorite level in the game. Because you actually do get to go, unlike Springfield Elementary and stuff like that, you actually get to go into Burns' Manor. And they say, like, Burns has retrofitted his house to be a skate level, but he's allowed to hunt the skaters. And I was like, whatever, that's stupid, but okay, fine, whatever. But it's not even like you go into his house and it's just empty. All the stairs have just been placed with ramps. Half the ramps you can't get up without backing up and taking a running start at them because you go too fucking slow. There's nothing in the house to grind on or anything fun like that. One of the objectives is to go down and rob Burns' vault in the basement. So you go down to the basement and it's just a skate park covered in gold with nothing in it other than a vase sitting on a pillar in the middle of the floor. And all you have to do, you have to get to the top of one of the pools in the safe, grind across the top, jump off, and hit the vase to knock it off of this fucking pillar. You knock it off this pillar, Burnsy runs over to his his broken vase and leaves his safe open for a minute. Then you have to get to the very back corner of the level and basically ride along the back wall, which the floor is about as wide as your skateboard, but you can't grind. Get to a pipe, grind up it over the safe, which opens the safe, fills the pools up with money, and then escape. And to escape, you literally just have to skate out of the room. Terrible. Fucking terrible. And then there's this fucking hedge maze. They put Burns' hedge maze in the game behind Burns' manor. And you would think like, oh, that'd be kind of fun. You can like grind on the... No, there is no jumping over the walls, jumping over the bushes because you can't get enough speed. There's no grinding on it, but there is a collectible hidden in the end of the maze. So you get to literally go through a hedge maze on a skateboard, very slowly bumping into walls and not being able to move and not being able to see till you find your way to the middle to get the fucking collectible. Terrible. Fucking terrible. Awful. The only redeemable quality about Burns' Manor is they do have the super fun happy slide, and you go down it, and then you get into the basement, and there is the casket with the home with Burns as the vampire and stuff. That was not enough to make the game good, but it was funny. The fourth level is construction site. It's just terrible. It's just a bunch of fucking skateboarding stuff sitting in the middle of a field with two tanks, like military army war tanks sitting in the middle of the level pointing their cannons at each other. And one of the objectives is to grind across both cannons and make them shoot each other. It's awful. It's the most forgettable level in the game. Sir Putt-A-Lots, the mini golf course, is a level which, again, could be funny, but there's no room to move. There is no... I ended up rage quitting this level because there's no room to move. Because every mini golf hole has like its little, like when you play mini golf, like along the sides, there's just like the like 2-inch high boards to keep your ball on the track. Those are all there, and you can grind them for about a half a second each, but otherwise you just bump into them and lose all your speed. Excuse me. I'm choking on my own rage here. I'm not even going to cut that out. That's how much I think of this game. I'm going to leave a belch into this episode because I hate this game this much. The Sir Putt-A-Lots level, you're constantly just starting and stopping because the whole course is basically just flat, and you constantly are just bumping into the edges of other courses and other holes and shit like that. You never get any speed going. It's terrible. One of the objectives is to go around and close all the holes, which means finding the levers to shut all the holes down, but you never get any speed going to fucking go and find all the holes. And then there's a bunch of water everywhere. It's like a moat. It's fucking... Why would that make a good skateboarding level? Why would a mini golf course? And it's not like a 3D mini golf course where you can go up on castles and grind down them and shit. No, just a flat earth mini golf course. Why would that make a good skateboarding level? I defy you to give me a reasonable explanation. Terrible. Terrible. Krusty Lou Studios is the next statue or the next level, and it's just a half-ass skate park outside of a building with Krusty's head on it. There's a whole ton of warehouses and buildings with closed doors that don't open, but you have to skate up to all of them to see if they do open, but 99% of them don't. You don't get to go into Krusty Lou Studios and skate in the Krusty Show or go to the sets of Itchy. I will say maybe this stuff is in the game, but I spent a few minutes in every level. I spent a sizable portion in every level trying to accomplish objectives and never found anything. There's no cool sets where you can go and visit them or anything like that. It's basically just a nighttime warehouse fucking complex where you skate outside and there's a few ramps and stuff. It's just fucking... One of the objectives was to find Sideshow Mel and chase him into a pool. I looked for a good 10-15 minutes and never found Sideshow Mel. Awful. And but again, when you see, if you're reading the back of the box and it's hey, you can go skating at Burns' Manor, Krusty Lou Studios, the Springfield Mall. You're those make for good levels. They don't, because there's nothing in any of them. The Springfield Mall should be the best level as well, because I think malls would make great levels in Tony Hawk Pro Skaters. And actually, the parking lot's not horrible, because in the parking lot, it makes sense. They shut the mall down, and they put some half pipes and some ramps and stuff in the parking lot, and you're all right, I'll skate around the Springfield Mall parking lot, do some tricks, and kind of neat. That's cool. Then you get to go into the mall, and you're thinking all right, that's what I'm talking about. But then you go to the mall, and it's fucking empty outside of a fountain in the middle, and then just these randomly put in fucking rails to slide on in the middle of it. There's no you can't grind along the fucking glass walls on the second floor looking down to the first floor or anything like that. It's just a big empty mall that looks like it's made out of construction paper. And then finally I found a path to get up to the top of the mall. But other than that, I thought I had to grind up this fucking bar that you can never get up. And then you have to find the key to Flanders' Leftorium. And I follow the arrow that tells you where the key is. It takes me down to a furnace room, and I think the key is at the top of the furnace room. But I must have spent 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get up there. Couldn't get it. And every time I ran out of time, it kept saying Flanders went home. And I was just like, well, then fuck him. Fuck him and fuck this mall and fuck left-handed people. No offense, but you're fucking weird. Ugh. Itchy and Scratchy Land is another park, and it's a lot like the Sir Puddalots. There's just curbs and shit everywhere. You can never get any speed going. The first objective, you'd think you could like ride on roller coasters and shit, but it's just a big empty pile of ass. There's Itchy and Scratchy. There's like one where they're near a trap. And you go to the trap, and you see Itchy and Scratchy standing there, and you have to chase them into this trap. And I don't know how to explain it. It's to quote Milhouse, your skateboarder and Itchy and Scratchy are like two positively charged ions. Like when you start skating toward them, it's like you've got like an invisible shield on the front of your skateboard that pushes them away, but it doesn't push them straight. It pushes them kind of to the left or right. And I must have tried again for 20 minutes. I could never even get, and once you start the challenge, you have like 60 seconds to get both Itchy and Scratchy into this trap and then set the trap off. I never got one of them into the trap because the characters control so badly. And then you get near him, you get within like a foot of Scratchy, and then he doesn't run straight away from you. He kind of runs to the side of you. And I'm like, I have no earthly idea how you're supposed to steer these two into this fucking trap. So Itchy and Scratchy Land is so lame. The power plant, again, that should be an awesome level, right? You should be able to skate around inside the power plant and go up on the cooling towers and everything. It's just a big empty field. It's a big empty field with office buildings on it. And I'm not even kidding. It is a massive, there are endless sections of the power plant level where you're just skating on grass with nothing around. One of the challenges is to disturb a bunch of nuclear techs to cause a meltdown. But it's like solving an obstacle course to figure out how to get to them. And you only have like 45 seconds and you can't get the You can't go into the power plant. You can't skate in Burns' office or anything. If you can, I never found out how. 5 hours or so collectively of this game was enough for me. The power plant level was just the emptiest. Like, I don't know what's worse. The power plant level where at least there's a few ramps and stuff to jump off of, but 3/4 of the level is empty. Or like Itchy and Scratchy Land or the fucking mini golf course where there's stuff everywhere, but it's not fun ramps. You're just constantly bumping into things and not going anywhere. And then the last level is Springfield Gorge. And that should be a layup, right? Kick and flip like mountains that are shaped like ramps and stuff, just like we've all seen on the show. It looks like it was designed by Ralph. You go to Springfield Gorge and you can fall in the gorge. There's no funny scene. You just fall into the gorge. It puts you back up. And there's just random these grinding rails and shit fucking everywhere. It literally just looks like a bunch of crap on the wall. It looks like they just took a bunch of crap and threw it into the Springfield Gorge field around the... And that's it. That's the last level. And that's your game. So then you go through, how many levels is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, right? You go through 10 levels with 9 characters, having to do 5 challenges on each level 9 fucking times, and most of the challenges aren't fun. And you're battling these controls where the character just never goes straight. And when you try to turn, they turn too sharp. It's absolutely the Tony Hawk Pro Skater engine, but it's like they only managed to steal about 30% of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater engine, and then instead of filling in the other 70%, they were like, it's good enough. Nobody can tell the difference. It's fucking terrible. It's terrible. It's not funny to listen to. It's not funny to play. It is funny to look at for all the wrong... It's funny, but not ha-ha funny. It's just ugly. It controls bad. There's not one redeemable quality about Springfield skateboarding. Not one. I know a lot of people, when I said this is the worst game I ever played, were writing in with other games. I can't speak to all the other games you wrote in about, but it is the worst game I think I have ever played. Keep in mind, for the record, I have never played Simpsons Wrestling. I will at some point. Although this episode set Simpsons Wrestling back in my backlog because what I thought would be kind of a fun joke around, drop some Simpsons quotes and be like, it's not great, but it's a Simpsons game. I knew what I was getting going in. I was like, this is the Simpsons game that makes other Simpsons games look good. This is unquestionably bottom 3 games I've ever played in my life. And without doing a lot of soul searching and really thinking hard on it, I think this is the worst game that I've ever fucking played. I'm not even going to give it the dignity of giving it a funny scoring scale. I'm scoring it out of 10, and I'm going to give it a 1. Maybe. No, 0.5. 0.5. The only reason it's even getting 0.5 is because Marge saying, "Why aren't we wearing helmets?" and the animations of Krusty are they're 0.5 of 10 entertaining. Nothing about, like, I'm telling you, I bought this game for $20 at an expo sale to play it for the show. Do not spend $20 on this game to find out for yourself. Don't emulate it. It's not worth the chance that there's a virus or something in there. Don't play it. Don't go and play. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm trying to drive home how bad this game is. I would do a complete playthrough of Echo the Dolphin before I played Simpsons Skateboarding again. I've never played a game this half-assed. Everyone involved in this game should be ashamed of themselves. Well, I take that back because maybe the developers were like, "Hey, this is not done." They're like, "This game is at like 30. It plays like it's like 30% done." And the producers or the publishers were like, "We want it out for Christmas. Good enough. Send it out." I don't know. Think of the worst game you've played in the last 5 years. Simpsons Skateboarding is probably worse. It's just, and it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to The Simpsons. It's an embarrassment to video games. It's an embarrassment to skateboarding. And I quite frankly feel like it's tainted the legacy of my show because it's so bad. Fuck me. What a 0.5 out of 10. Worst game I've ever played. I hope this was worth listening to. I don't know if it was. I'm going to treat you to some more of the fantastic Simpsons Skateboarding music, and then we'll do the outro, thank some patrons, and get the fuck out of here. What a piece of shit. Just awful. I'll be honest, I'm recording this outro before I record the game chat as well. I'm imagining that I've aged in the last 45 minutes after doing that fucking review. What a piece of shit. Fuck me. What is that? I award no stars, and may God have mercy on your soul, or whatever the fuck the line is from Billy Madison. Fucking terrible. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. This was supposed to be a fun Christmas Eve episode, and it turned out to just be Worker and Parasite. It's just horrendous. But thank you for listening anyways. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Leave us a nice review. If you don't hate the show, I would appreciate that. I'm not sure what they accomplished, but they make me feel good about myself. And if you really want to support the podcasts, Patreon.com/RememberTheGame. Pretty well the greatest Christmas gift you could give me. That's for damn true. Subscription started just $3 a month. You get new podcasts every week. You get instant access to hundreds and hundreds of archive bonus podcasts. Plus, Remember the Game every Wednesday, ad-free with timestamps. You can write into the show, join our Discord, vote on the games we cover, and more. It's a great time to become a Patreon as well, too, because tomorrow for Expansion Pass, Christmas Day, it's going live. It's our PlayStation 1 game draft. I'll be joining 3 of our former Game Draft champions, 3 of the regular guests I have here on the show, and we're each drafting a lineup of 10 PS1 games in hopes of drafting the most popular lineup as per our listeners to try to win a vote, to win a meaningless prize. We'll donate some money to the charity, the winner's choice. And coming up in January, we have the Blankies, our annual game show, or game award show. That's always the biggest show of the year, so that should be fun. All that said, actually, when I said this is the best time of year to be a Patreon, maybe just, it won't charge you for a month. So if you sign up now, you can work your way through the backlog. But I will say there's like no podcasts next week. I'm taking the week off. I'm fucking disappearing. I don't know. I'm probably just going to go play video games. I'm going to try to finish Ghost of Yotei and Metroid Prime 4 and just chill out. But we got some great episodes coming up. Remember the Game 360 next week to wrap up the year. My buddy Tyler and I are talking BioShock 2. Bradley McHugh and I are talking Mario Kart Super Circuit, for the GBA to kick off January. My buddy Dan and I are going to be covering Mega Man X4 in January. And Andre and I are potentially, hopefully, planning to talk the first Assassin's Creed in January as well. So good times. Patreon.com/RememberTheGame if you want to enjoy us. I will be on Twitch over the Christmas break. Twitch.tv/RememberTheGame. Come by and say hi. I'm going to thank some patrons and leave. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Thanks for listening. I appreciate all of you. Cheers, so long, goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I couldn't puke up all the content I turn out every week without all of your support. The following people are the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I am contractually obligated to rifle through these names as fast as I can. So we're going to go newest to oldest this week. Let's do that. Huge. Remember the Game, thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famer, Slick Motherfucking Rick, Amanda Hug and Kiss, Carl Not Garl, Davis Feith, Chris Nethercutt, The $100 Kid, Ted Michaels, King Tiki Tiki, George Swan, Redline Arrow Jones, Jonathan Breer? Lindsay Lee, Raph is my favorite turtle, not Donnie, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Tyler Patchell, Siegfried, Landon Turquoise, the okayest of muffins, Frank Preeves, Profound, Spooky Dookie, Just James, Exotic Chaotic, Trooper Galactus, Cannon Fodder Games, Devin Collins, Shane's World, Mikey Hag, Botfucker, Steaming Wooly, Fancy Starbot Dirt, Game Boy Gannon, Jeff Leopard, Horror Wars Podcast, The Curious Network, Jinxie425, Legendberry, Thunder Leaps, Topher Love, Shut Up, Doogie Bowser MD, Captain Asbury Juice, Erotic Onion Ring, Flater Flav, Lord Salazar, Travis Sanders, MacGyver88, The Grim Patron, Hello Mr. Thompson, Super Cyan, Safarioth, Dazerath, Daniel Cook, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Conebread, Brother Retro, VOS Rager, Wilco, McCracken, Justin Blair, Diablo Spartan, Muncal, David Schroeder, I Love It, Iano, Generic Name 238, Darbles, Eric Hopewell, Spider-Cat, Alex McIntyre, Scotty McGee, Toby OP, Thrill Ho, Lotus, Justin Tate, Ryan Whitcomb, Ida Yellow, Big Daddy Randall, Mr. Jabroni, Bob Sacamano, JR Bob Dobbs, Cody Thompson, Liquor Like Luigi, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Cesar, Moby36, Too Much Karma, Matt Zeus, Bula, Blobby, Brian Richmond, Robbie Air, Jay Callahan, Adam Blake still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Shoeboxers, E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, You Son of a Bitch, Why? Tell me why? The Supreme Chozo Rizu, Fallen Snow Kiku, Penguin Milk, B Money, Chris Hilda is scared, that could be anyone's ass. Faded Suffrage, Sour Goat Face, Frosty Bear, Lucas Shaman, Roger Starbox, Pool Cleaner, Lord Long Ron Bot, Huge and Dom II, Marcus Mendoza, Infinity Rage, Because 19, Beers of War, Lord Palmerston, Leroy Jenkins, Nordak, Pee Wee Squitters, Can't Destroy Her, Kevin Monroe, Ryan 4664, The Big Deal, Adam Martinet, Nick Creature, Postman, Darth Skywalter, Bartman Forever, Zombie Xy, Just Car Prank, Scotty J, Please Refrain from Tasting the Knob, Alex R, Ryan Perry, Ted Explosion, Works for Me, AB Killen, Monstrous D Boner, Kia Pup, Brandon DeZeba, Maverick, T-Bear 87, Tadpole, Big the Cat, Zamatos, Christopher Britt, Quiet Place Queen, Ben Malloy, Beef Dingleberry, My Left Nut, Timothy Sabrinsky, Graham Kennedy, Musty Beetle, Maverick Marty, Christian Gabriel, Caveman Lance, Timmy the Exuberant, Turtle, Hits Meals, Isaiah, Squeaknut, Sleeper Hit, Donnie the Dude Walter, Sam Carpenter, Drugs About him, K, John of the Adult Children Podcast, James Walt Francesco, The Max Legroom. I am the very model of a modern Major General. General Fury, Coda Blaze is busy keeping the bills on for Christmas. Oroku Saki's Gardener, Jimothy, High Plains Drifter, Hegel Waffle, Earl, Archangel Otaku, Storm Beagle, Scary Terry, Blame the Hoagie Man, Why the Surgeon Who Isn't a Surgeon Row, a dude named Adam, Decoy Man, Fuzzy99, Gabe, Matt Babineau, Stud Still Smash, Rush's Dog Walker, Dark Squall, Leroy Westrich, Thomas Smith, Beaver Boy, Growly Wog, Laces Out Dan, Jake Carter, Northern, Joe the Sandman, Phil Lencher, Tyler, Juris Dr. Mario, Mizuru, Standard Ass Brian, Steve Dulk, Jameer Williams, DBXJ, Madam Nutsich, Discount Psyop, Elijah Burns, Tucker22, 333, Captain Black Silver, Zach Shepard, Holmes, Fill Up My Dog with Barks. I like that one. Just a Fish, Randy Barrage, Jeff Bergeron, Titan 420, Dean Donian, Squints, Johnny from Virginia, Wolf Magic 21, Doogie, Andy Hudson, Wolfgang Darren, Mercury 869, G9PSX, Mike Maloney, Ryan Kinchin, Zane Donovan, Morgan A-Town, JSK Fusick, Aaron Lawson, Scott Brooks, No One Cares, Dave Thompson, Angry Ticks, Little Buddy Fufu 89, Happy Birthday Chetta, Jordan, Andrew Wright, Chris Fleury, Doug Dorn, Dissect That Dan, George King Keegs, J Nasty 15, Sharonic, and Make Shamalo Magic Money. That was not my best work, but what do you gotta do? Still better than the Simpsons Skateboarding. Awful game. Hideous.
You. God. Choking on my own rage here.